Hello, how are you? I wanted to come and give everybody an update on a couple alternate videos that I did create, giving you the awareness of a title, V11 Civil Rights Act of 1964, employment discrimination claim and charges that I filed against CVS Health, who was my employer. CVS Health hired me as a nurse care manager. And they agreed in an EEOC settlement via mediation on October the 14th, 2022, that they would pay me a confidential settlement amount in total entire sum directly to me within 30 days of the signing date, which was October 18th of 2022. They did not pay me the entire total sum directly as they agreed. What they did was they held on to $15,028 illegally. So basically, they seized my property without implied or express consent. This is equitable property, a part of a U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission um, race and disability settlement agreement where an MSA exists and a general release, which actually, do not break down the disbursement of the funds any differently. Is to come to me directly. Littner Mendelson PC is attorneys for Aetna Resources LLC. Aetna Resources LLC is classified as the actual employer because they are who issue the paychecks. Even though CVS hired me and I was a CVS health nurse, in the legal arena, Aetna Resources LLC was the employer because they issued the pay stubs. So if you look up any type of case related to this, you will see at the U.S. District Southern Division in Columbus, Ohio, the federal court, you'll see Clark versus CVS/Aetna, and that's 2:22 CV02519. And then you will see the EEOC. I mean, you won't see the EEOC, but the EEOC mediation agreement is under charge 532-2022-02705. So there was the federal case, a EEOC charge, two civil rights commission charges, and an actual OSHA whistleblower retaliation charge pending against CVS Aetna, all right, or Aetna Resources LLC in the legal arena. What happened was Richard Diageo of Littner Mendelson PC, him and Salvador Lopez of EEOC, Salvador Lopez is the mediator, were caught trying to write in the initial MSA settlement agreement a $15,000 payment allocation out of my settlement to Spitz Law Firm. And I caught them. Spitz Law Firm did not represent me in the EEOC negotiations or settlement on October the 14th, 2022. They did not schedule the mediation hearing. EEOC scheduled the hearing prior to Spitz Law Firm hire date of July 19, 2022. Okay, so what has happened is grand theft of my property and also criminal conversion. So you'll want to keep your eye out on Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, 22CV007866, which is consolidated with 22CV008947, where I'm suing Spitz Law Firm, and also 22CV008936, where I'm suing Aetna Resources LLC. Again, all of those were at the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas with a judge named Chris Brown. He's a lazy judge. He ignored all of the motions and pleadings and briefs from the filing date, where Cleveland, Ohio attorney Alex Rondo for Littner Mendelson in Cleveland, he filed a bogus frivolous interpleader in the court as a misrepresentation. He knew exactly what he was doing, right? So he filed that fraud on the court, increasing judicial costs and deceiving the public. Yeah, okay, he's an attorney. So he knew exactly what he was doing. So basically, Richard Diageo and Salvador Lopez, they wrote up an agreement that was going to pay Spitz Law for $15,000, right? Because they're all in cahoots, right? So Salvador Lopez told me that he knows attorney Greg Schumacher of Spitz Law Firm. So, I mean, that's conflict of interest right there. So he's advocating actually for the respondent in the EEOC. And then also Richard Diageo, He just got on board with it because he sent me an email saying that Salvador Lopez told him that I said that I would deal with Spitz later and go ahead and put that in the MSA, which was a bold-faced lie, right? So I caught them and I told them, listen, get that language out of there. Spitz Law Firm does not have a charging lien or attorney lien, a lien levy attachment to any settlement whatsoever that's legally binding or enforceable whatsoever. And in fact, Spitz Law Firm has a contingency fee contract that they breached. And I said, I'm going to sue them for malpractice. They don't actually have an attorney's lien or charging lien. They asserted one, but they don't have one. They never gave notice, which you have to do. If you have a lien, you're going to bring a lien, you have to give notice. And then you actually have to file a motion in the court to perfect that lien and get it attached to a settlement that if you were an attorney on a case, you can only attach a lien, levy, or an attachment to a settlement where you actually poured into, all right, where you poured your labor into. You cannot gain any type of fruits from a settlement in which you did not see to the end, nor that you did not contribute to the results. Okay, so the EEOC mediation settlement, Spitz Law Firm, Brian Spitz, Trisha Breedlove, Nick Kerr, Greg Schumacher, no attorney at Spitz Law Firm actually did any work whatsoever in getting that. They did not mitigate, they did not litigate, they did not negotiate, they did absolutely nothing. They weren't there. They filed a letter of representation, but they did not represent. Okay, they weren't there. They didn't do anything. Okay, and in fact, they don't have any actual work whatsoever. Point blank. Period. From the point of hire. Okay, they don't have any actual work that they can show. What they did was they stole my pro se work product, where I did everything. I filed every motion, every pleading, um, every claim, all of that. There are no court costs with the U.S. District claim because I filed affidavit of indigency. So Spitz Law Firm, Brian Spitz, and nobody have any fronted costs. They don't have any expenses whatsoever. Spitz Law Firm never filed a motion, a pleading, a brief. They don't have discovery. They don't have pre-litigation research. They don't have any evidentiary work. They don't have anything that they could prove where they sent out any letters, where they bought any postage, where they drove their car and wasted any gas, going to any court. They don't have deposition fees. They don't have witness fees. They never talked to any of my witnesses. They never did anything, okay? And they can't prove it. And in fact, Richard Diageo sent me an email telling me that Spitz Law Firm didn't think that they'd be able to get their fees from me, but because he neglected to go back and tell them that I caught him, Salvador Lopez of EEOC, trying to fake and deceive me and place me under duress to sign an agreement paying Spitz Law Firm $15,000 of my money. He never went back and told them that of his own free will, he took all the specific language out of the agreement. He voided out that first agreement, right? That he told them, Spitz Law Firm, that he had 15,000 and he requested their W-9 for it. When someone requests your W-9, that means they're going to expect the check to be issued, right? Well, he never went back and told him. He voided that out, and that doesn't exist. There's no real legal binding settlement agreement that will expressly pay Spitz Law Firm $15,000 of my EEOC MSA settlement agreement. It's not in the general release or anything like that. The general release just basically says that Aetna Resources, Littner Middleton will do anything that it needs to do in accordance to the money, the 15,028, or the fees that are in dispute in accordance to the law. But in fact, Aetna Resources LLC, CVS Health did not do anything in accordance to the law, right? Not Littner Middleton, not Spitz, not Aetna, not CVS Health Pharmacy. Well, I don't know where they came in because CVS Health Pharmacy Inc. is a whole another EIN number. I did not work for CVS Health Pharmacy or anything like that. So I don't know where they came into play. I didn't name them on any type of claim or anything. But as you can see here, what they did was they created a remittance advice to Spitz Law Firm as if Spitz Law Firm was their corporate vendor, if you can see. Okay, as if Spitz Law Firm issued them a invoice or something like that for services that they directly provided to CVS Health Pharmacy as someone that CVS Health Pharmacy or CVS Health had an obligation to pay, and that's a complete and it's a bold-faced lie. Spitz Law Firm does not have a direct relationship with CVS Health, CVS Health Pharmacy, or Aetna Resources, or Littner Middleton, or no damn body. Okay, um, that would warrant them getting $15,028 direct payment from CVS Health Pharmacy, and the Resources, or anybody. Okay, this $15,028 is actually part of a employment discrimination claim against Aetna Resources, really CVS Health, because that's who actually hired. Get it? All right. So basically, Richard Diageo, he sent me an email and he said, listen, because Richard Diageo sent Trisha Breedlove of Spitz Law Firm an email. He said, listen, CVS is going to send April Clark 15,028 because it's technically part of her overall settlement agreement through EEOC, and it's technically due her as a part of that and entire sum and directly, right? And he also attached case law to that as well. And he said, I hope that you be guided accordingly, now that you understand my position, right? But what Richard Diageo did of Remittance PC, he says that that's his firm. He forgot, he neglected to go back and tell them that he, of his own free will, intentionally voided out that agreement that he once expressly had because he was deceiving, right? And he got in cahoots with somebody trying to fake. They know that there's no lien. They know there's no lien levy. They know it's just an assertion. Okay, Spence Law Firm is nothing more but a creditor that is asserting an indebtedness. That's what it is. All right, but CVS Health Pharmacy took it upon themselves to debit my income, which is the 15,028, which is my equitable property from my settlement. They debited it that, and they went on and paid, took it upon themselves to take my property and give it to Spitz Law Firm illegally. That's what they did. And what they also did was they tried to evade taxes or fraud the IRS because they want to make sure that their books match by saying, listen, we're going to pretend that you're our vendor, Spitz Law Firm. Okay, that we had a relationship with you and that we owe you an obligation of 15,028 because of some service that you provided to us, but it's an actual lie. Spitz never provided any direct service to CVS Health, CVS Health Pharmacy, or Aetna Resources whatsoever. This is actually my money from a settlement that they stole. So Richard Diageo, Littner Medicine PC, he sent me an email. He said, listen, Spitz Law Firm said that they're going to sue me individually and my colleague, Alex Frondorf, individually, CVS individually, Aetna individually, and my firm, Littler Middleton PC, individually this coming Monday if I don't figure out a way to come to an agreement with you over the 15,028. Well, that's not my problem. Okay, you shouldn't have lied. Okay, I don't have nothing to do with that. That's your own mistake. That's your own negligence and unethical practices that created a liability for yourself, for your colleague Alex, and also CVS, and also CVS Health, and also Aetna. That has nothing to do with me. An agreement about the 15,000 that which is a part of the overall confidential settlement amount is already made, right? It's made in the MSA settlement agreement, which says you need to pay me every single dime, all of it, total sum directly within 30 days of October 18th of 2022. And they failed to do that. So he asked me for consent. So he knows by law you have to have consent from the property owner, right? So that means he knows the rightful owner, right? Well, they filed an interpleader to fake the court. Well, in an interpleader, you can't know who the rightful owner is. All you could do is go there as a mere innocent third party and say, listen, these two people, three people, whoever, they're fighting over this money, but we don't want to give it to the wrong person and face multiple liability. That's a true interpleader, okay? But this is a lie. They utilized that particular process to mask a crime, okay? This is a money heist. So he spun a narrative, okay, and created a web of lies to trick the court. That's fraud on the court. They're filing frivolous things in the court as a misrepresentation. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it deliberately and intentionally. All right. And these are lawyers. They have no sense of integrity. If you don't have integrity, you can't be a lawyer. They need to be disbarred. This is actual crime. It's grand theft. It's criminal conversion. And I'm still waiting on their all to be arrested and thrown in jail. Spitz Law Firm is holding on to my $15,028 right now. It's my actual property and will not release it. I've sent demand for my misappropriated funds to be released to me, and every single one of these attorneys ignore me. All right, and they're not responding and anything. When you have this type of money that comes from an actual settlement fund, it needs to be safeguarded. So it's breach of fiduciary duty as well. Remember 22CV007866, Franklin County Court of Common Pleas in Columbus, Ohio. Chris Brown presiding. He ignored every single motion from November the 9th of 2022 all the way to October 27th of 2022 when Jacqueline Bajas, who's his staff attorney, sent in an email thread that's common to all of us to prevent ex parte communication. She sent the decision through that email, but the Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District will not allow me. They denied my motion to submit that common thread email because it does contain a lot of material triable facts associated to the case record that's now in appeals under 23 AP 670 and 23 AP 671, right? Because Chris Brown, what he did He ignored all of this for damn near a whole year. And then finally, after he's starting to get exposed, then he goes ahead and just picks and chooses what motions he wants to go ahead and rule on and shit like that. But what he did was he ruled in summary judgment in favor of Spitz Law Firm, knowing there's material, triable facts and details, right? And there's a jury demand on 22CV008947, 2200 22CV007866 and 22CV008936. They're trying to hide the fact that this is all stemming from a Title D11 Civil Rights Act. Employment discrimination is based on race, okay, and all of that. Retaliation and all of this. It's continued retaliation. That's what's going on. These are all white people um, keeping their foot on the neck of somebody black. Okay, I'm black. It's just racism continue, and it's actual slavery. So Chris Brown deprived my rights, all of them under cover of law. He is controlling my entire life. I can't make any decisions whatsoever. I don't have free choice. I can't go into a court and face my accuser. He revoked that. He revoked that right, and he silenced me. He did it on purpose. He took every single one of my rights away: my life, my liberty, my pursuit of happiness, my whole property. 15,028. That's my actual property. He stole it. He participated in cahoots and collusion with Spitz Law Firm, Brian Spitz, Trisha Breedlove, and also Littner Mendelson, Richard Diageo, Alex Frondorf. He knows that this is actual theft. He participated. He did it on purpose. It's deliberate. All right. And now he's being sued in U.S. Southern District Court as well. Each and every one of these people are. Okay. So basically, yeah, you can never ever steal somebody's property. You have to have consent. Richard knew that. He sent me the email. He asked for consent. I tell him no. So him and Alex Frondor from Littner Mendelson PC got together in cahoots, and they devised a plan to use me as a scapegoat and pretend that they don't know the rightful owner. They found a way to use their legal expertise and knowledge and legalese and file a legal process that otherwise might be effective when there's a question about money that's owed to someone, but they used it under deception. All right. And it's actual fraud. So they know that I'm the rightful owner. They know they were supposed to give it to me. They know everything that Richard Diageo did. They know that Spitz Law Firm caught him lying. He should have went back and took responsibility and told them what he did. He should have done that. And he created his own liability to them. He created his own client, CVS Health, Aetna. He created them a liability to Spitz by what he did in his own actions. When an attorney creates their own mistake that results in liability for him or his clients, you can't go to the court and file something and to look to the court to clean up your fucking mess that you caused. But that's exactly what they did. And they tried to make it seem as if, oh, well, no, these are the fees that this Spitz Law Firm, they have a attorney lien, but they know that no attorney lien exists. They knew this before all of this. They knew this prior to the EEOC MSA settlement agreement even being signed, okay? And also Salvador Lopez, EEOC MSA, what he did, the mediator, he sent out an email, said, listen, April Clark's not going to, has alerted us that she's not going to settle these claims, any of them, if we can't come to an agreement and take out all of the specific language allocating any of her money, the 15,028, because what Spitz was actually claiming was 15,028. The 15,000 was an actual mistake in that first thing that they wrote up. And I said, oh, hell no, I'm not, no, no, no. So what they did, both of them, Salvador Lopez, mediator, EEOC, and also Richard Diageo, of own free will, they went and they took all the language out. Richard Diageo sent me an email. He said, as you requested, I took out all, I revised the general release, removing all of the specific language allocating Spitz Law Firm or any of your money to go, a third check to be produced to go to Spitz Law Firm in the amount of $15,028. He sent me his red line draft and he said, please review this and let me know if you approve it. And then that way I can finalize and then get me the documents to sign. Okay. So, but Chris Brown, he didn't want those emails in the court. He tried to strike them and all of this type of stuff and seal the EEOC and also strike the brief that Spitz Law Firm put in and all of this. He ignored the jury trial. He did all of this. But yet now the case is over in Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District. And actually some of those emails of Richard Diageo, they're still present. So yeah, that tactic of his didn't work. So yeah, that case is going to absolutely be remanded back. And I asked Chris Brown to recuse off my case. I also have asked Michael Holbrook to recuse off because Michael Holbrook is absolutely ignoring deliberately a motion that is right for a decision to unseal the EEOC MSA in the general release and all evidence attached to this entire case, which is all of these are consolidated. He's deliberately ignoring that. But anytime Littner Mendelssohn PC Bonnie Kristen puts a motion in, he immediately addresses it and makes a ruling and things like that. They're ignoring anything that I do on purpose. All right. It's because I'm pro se. It's because I'm Black. I mean, I don't know, because they only like lawyers. They're protecting their these are all white races. They're all biased and they're all prejudiced. I want him off of my case. All right. They don't want the public to know because they know that the public is going to scrutinize this. This is taxpayer dollars. All right. This is judicial misconduct. And you need to know this is Columbus, Ohio. This is corruption. It's cahoots. It's collusion. These are attorneys. This is what they did. They did it on purpose. You need to know this. This is actual racial discrimination. It is grounded in federal law. It is of public interest and public policy. The federal court is usually the one that interprets the settlement agreements that come from EEOC. Yeah, so Alex Frondorf did this. He did it on purpose. Richard Diageo has caused all of this mess. They threw this into a court that sparked a whole litigation where EEOC settlement agreements are supposed to prevent. So it sparked a whole litigation that has resulted in my money being stolen and me being severely harmed. And now I'm continuing the litigation in federal court. So this is all Richard Diageo's doing because he wouldn't accept responsibility for his wrongdoing and not alerting Spitz of what he did. But they all know what he did. Brian Spitz of Spitz Law Firm in the ex parte communication email thread to prevent ex parte communications, he offered me $1,000 to drop all my claims and charges against Spitz Law Firm. Okay, so like I said, the Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District is not allowing those emails to be submitted, but those emails are actually associated to the case record because I was even given notification of a court decision through that particular email. So I want everybody in the world, in the universe, to keep an eye also on the judges that are presiding over the appeals for 23AP670, 23AP671. My rights are at risk. This is deprivation of rights under color of law. And if any one of those judges at the Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District deprives of my rights as they already have, I'm going to sue them in federal court individually. Then I'm going to come after their security bond, just like I'm doing these other people. Do you understand me? Yes, I am. You do not revoke someone's liberty. Now, you don't control their life. You don't take their property and decide what the hell you're going to do with it. They didn't put this money in any type of settlement fund, no interest-bearing trust fund, no court registry. Okay, they didn't create an IOLTA. No fiduciary title was assigned to this. It's breach of fiduciary duty. It's malpractice in this. All right, it's misrepresentation. It's frivolous conduct. Okay, it's breach of contract. It's all kinds of shit in here in this particular case. This is a fake frivolous interpleader. This is abuse of a court process and system. This is a waste of taxpayer dollars. The public has a right to know about this. All right, you can't revoke somebody's 14th Amendment right, but this is exactly what they did. These are white racist slave masters, and they did it on purpose. This is about race. And this is about you, Black person. I dare you expose racism, discrimination, first of all, in the workplace. And then I dare you say that some white attorney didn't do what they said they was going to do. Okay, but they didn't. They didn't do anything. And Spitz Law Firm cannot show you any work of their own that they did. First, they lied to the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, saying that they had 200 documents trying to pass all my work off as their own. All right, that's all my work. Any documents that they have, anything that they have, it's all mine. They have nothing of their own. They did no discovery. Okay, they don't have evidentiary work. They didn't talk to an investigator for OSHA whistleblower retaliation. They didn't talk to a civil rights investigator. They didn't talk to the EEOC investigator Salvador Lopez. Okay, they didn't talk to anybody. Okay. And then Richard Diageo went to that damn U.S. Southern District Court after we already came to a settlement, and he told them in a case conference that settlement was pending. These are liars. These are liars. Alex Frondor filed this on November the 9th of 2022. And what he did, he told the court in his complaint that Aetna had already met its obligation to me by paying me everything else but the $15,000, which is a part of the overall settlement. However, that was a bold-faced ass lie. He filed in November 9th of 2022, but I didn't even get the checks until November 22nd of 2022 from Christian Wark. She's a manager, senior paralegal at CVS Health. Yeah, so she didn't send them. She overnighted them by air November 21st of 2022. I got it November 22nd of 2022, and I kept every thing. So he lied to the court. These are liars. They can't be they can't be judges. They can't be lawyers. They're liars. They have no integrity. So the track number is UPS next day air early. Tracking number 1Z033 9291591008352 from Christian Work, CVS 1 CVS Drive, Woodsocket, Rhode Island 02895, to me, that I didn't get to November the 22nd, while he sat up here and lied. Alex Frondorf, liar. Okay, these people need to be disbarred. But do know that the Ohio Supreme Court Disciplinary Board has a grievance on this, and they don't do shit. The Ohio Bar Association has a grievance on this. I really haven't heard back on what they're doing yet, so I can't say anything about that. But they do have the awareness. And then the Columbus Bar Association have the awareness. New Jersey Bar Association Ethics has the awareness. They didn't do shit. They know it's all wrongdoings of their lawyers, but they're protecting each other. There's no true comprehensive investigations going on. But now it will be, because how I got a copy of this check was I actually turned each and every one of them in as individuals, and each business entity in individually to the IRS for investigation. I filled out a 211 form and also another form. I think it was like 39, 38. I don't know. I reported the fraud. I reported what's going on to the IRS. I sent out a demand for the misappropriation of my funds. Richard Diageo sent me a copy of this. Remittance advice with the copy of the attached check at the bottom. So this is the verification and validation of everything that happened. Yeah, so you have to put any type of questionable settlement funds in an interest-bearing trust account. You have to, until a decision is made, you have to create one in an IOLTA, or you have to put it in a court registry or some type of an escrow. Yeah, interest-bearing trust account where all the banking and transaction withdrawals and deposit history, everything could be accounted for. They will not give me any information about what was going on with my property from November 9th, 2022, filing date, all the way through October 27, 2023, when Jacqueline Baja sent the decision through the email that Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District denied my motion to add to the case record for consideration, which does absolutely have material and triable facts associated to 22 CV 007866 and 22 CV 008947. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. These are all wrongdoers. Yeah, and we're going to hold them accountable because we can. I dare you take taxpayers' money and do whatever the fuck you're doing. I have a right to be heard in a court. I pay taxes. Excuse me. Yeah. So this is racism. This is what they did. They fired me during the participation of protected activities. Now, Alex Frondorf is the one that went out here and filed something in the public, and he told you that Edna owed me 15,028 of an EEOC MSA settlement agreement. Now, Edna did put in. Alex Frondorf did file a motion to deposit the funds into the court. But Chris Brown, remember, lazy judge, he ignored that motion. He never addressed that motion. What he did is he just found in favor of Spitz because that's his friends and that's his buddies and everything like that. They're in the same discipline. Yeah, he's in cahoots and collusion with them. All right, but he knows the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But yet that's what he did. You can never find a drastic, harsh summary judgment in favor of anyone like a creditor, because Spitz law firm is nothing but a creditor. When you know that I might be able to come in there and prove my case. Otherwise, I have a right to have a jury trial when it's equitable property on the line. It's equity that's being questioned. So yeah, they just tried to do this because I'm pro se and they think I'm stupid and they think I'm dumb and all of that. But now they all have gotten themselves hemmed up in a way that they can never get out of. And we want to keep on sharing this awareness to any and everybody out there. These are liars. CVS Pharmacy Inc. Paid Spitz Law Firm $15,028 of equitable property that's actually part of an overall settlement, confidential settlement amount associated to a Title V11 Civil Rights Act of 1964, employment discrimination, race disability, specifically discrimination settlement agreement in 5322022027005. Spitz Pharmacy, CVS Pharmacy Inc. has a different EIN number as Aetna Resources LLC, and they're trying to trick and fake the IRS. Yeah, so we're waiting for them to go to jail. Yeah, we want them audited. We want them investigated. We want Brian Spitz Spence to give me my damn property, and he hasn't done it yet. Brian Spence won't even give me a receipt. He claimed that this was his legal fees. I have every right to claim legal fees as a deduction on my taxes. So this was part of my income that CVS Pharmacy went ahead and debited illegally and gave to a creditor without consent, without legal right. You can never seize somebody's property and hold it and do whatever the fuck you want to do with it, disperse and do whatever you want to do with it. It's complete deprivation of rights. All right. So my life, my liberty, my civil, my human, U.S. and Ohio constitutional rights have all been revoked and snatched away from me. Okay. I am a slave. All right. These are my slave masters. This is racism. This is what they did. They took my property, did whatever the hell they wanted to do. They took my livelihood. I mean, working a job and never ever getting a poor performance whatsoever, nor violating any policy as determined by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Unemployment, who is a third party non-biased, all right, who objectively looked at everything and they determined I was fired, all right, without cause during the time I was participating in protected activities. All right. So who's going to do something about this? Okay, people, this can happen to you. If you are a Black person, you should be pissed. If you are a Black person, you should know that this can happen to you. And CVS Health, CVS Pharmacy, and the resource on need to quit putting Black people on the front of their shit. They don't like Blacks. They hate you. You understand me? Any corporation or any entity that sits up here and allows 3 of their fucking racist employees to target and attack a person, and they have the awareness through HR and external vendor for relations, for employee relations, and their compliance department of all the bullshit that's going on. They don't do anything about it, but get rid of the person that has done nothing wrong to anybody. I am an innocent Black person. I haven't done anything wrong. They took my livelihood. They did it on purpose. Then they agreed to pay me a certain amount in total directly. And then they stole 15,028 of it because a bullshit piece of shit attorney of theirs, Richard Diageo of Littler Middleton PC, decided that he was going to go and make a mistake and then not sit up here and take accountability and responsibility of his unfucking actions and use it as a fucking scapegoat and the bullshit that he did. Right, this is what the white folks is out here doing. All right, it's not okay. Ain't nobody Black standing up for me. All right, and saying nothing about it. I've been talking about this stuff for I don't know how long. This can happen to you too. All right, it's just really sad. It's really sad. Nobody in the Black culture is coming and saying, we got to come to this girl's defense. This is a Black nurse that's sitting up here. I am a highly credentialed individual and highly educated as well. I got a whole MBA. I'm a legal nurse. I'm a life care planner. All right. I'm a doctor of nursing practice candidate. Okay. I got a lot of irons in the fire and things like that. Okay. I want people to fucking leave me alone. I don't care nothing about the credentials and shit like that. But I'm saying these people keep putting my name in this fucking courts for bullshit that I'm not doing. And I don't want my name to be associated with anything negative. And they keep putting my fucking name in the courts and they are the wrongdoer. These are criminals. They need to publicly apologize. I want their licenses. I want everything taken from them like they've taken from me. They need to be disbarred, and Chris Brown needs to be off the bench. Michael Holbrook is on his way off the bench. Also, he is depriving my rights under color law. The Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District, these are 2 separate cases. These are 2 separate cases. When you file an appeal, you should be able to submit 30-page brief on your one case. All right. Well, this is 2 cases. This is 22CV007866. All right. I should be able to put a appeal brief in on that case alone of 30 pages. Then I should be able to put a brief in of the other case, which is 22 CV008947. All right, 22CV007866 goes with 23AP670. Then 22CV008947 goes with 23AP671. I should be able to put in a motion to file a long brief because these are 2 appellees and these are 2 separate cases that have been consolidated. I put in a motion to file a long brief of no more than 60 pages, and that Ohio 10th that Ohio Court of Appeals 10th District, somebody just /s/judge denied my motion to put in my long brief. This again is deprivation of rights under color of law. It's deliberate, it's intentional. They're all in cahoots and collusion. I should be able to put a 60-page brief in. This is about civil rights. It is a breach of contract. It's criminal activities that have taken place here. These people need arrested. They need to be put in jail. And that Ohio Court of Appeals is aware of it. And they didn't let me put in a long brief in my motion. I have a right to defend myself against this stuff. And they're not allowing me. They're keeping their foot on my neck and they are silencing me. And those judges will go to the federal court as well. I'm waiting on their they can get to it because they can go ahead now. Everything is in. I waive the oral argument. Get to making your decision. Because you make the wrong decision, I'm going to appeal to Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court don't take the appeal, I'm going to sue each and every one of them individually anyway. I'm going to sue you individually anyway in federal court. You keep revoking my rights. I'm getting sick and tired of it. All right. You leave Black people alone. Stop this racism. This is modern day racism and slavery. I'm sick and tired of these white folks revoking my rights.